Hi, welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. I'm Jackie.
And I'm my husband, Glenn. A little bit more excitement, please.
No.
A little bit more excitement, please.
No.
Take two.
No.
Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you miss any of our reviews. Welcome back to the Jack and Glenn. We're going to review tonight.
I already said that.
You messing with me. Look. Take two. No, I'm kidding.
No.
Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode number 4, Honeymoon Hiccup. Review. A lot of different situations. All the couples are getting ready to go on their honeymoon. Well, not all the couples. All but one. But we'll get to that couple a little bit later. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you miss any of our reviews. So let's get started. What couple do you want to get started with?
I don't know. You pick.
Let's go with Dominique and McKinley.
You only said that because that's what I have on the sheet first.
That's on top, baby. Hey, that peripheral vision. I got it. Let's go.
Dumb. Just dumb. Well, first of all, we see all the couples going to the honeymoon suite on the night of their wedding. And Dominique and McKinley, they're one of several couples, I think. Oh, matter of fact, 1 out of 5.
Yes.
Let me say it like this. They're one of the couples that carried over the threshold. There was one couple that didn't. Like, they walked in.
They walked in.
Like, why would you do that? But anyway, so he carries her. He could, no, they don't have nothing to do. He carries her over the threshold to the hotel, into the hotel room. And so they have a whole little conversation, like, do you snore? He says maybe occasionally I talk in my sleep, and so just like a lot of the other couples, she needs some help out of her dress. A lot of these ladies got buttons all up the back of their dress. So
50 million buttons.
I need help getting out of my dress, so he helps her get out of her dress. And so they have a whole conversation about, are you a cuddler? And she was like, well, I got a body pillow that I cuddle. He was like, yeah, a body pillow, like, where's it go? She was like, between my knees. He was like, okay, I heard of that before. Okay, so you gonna cuddle the pillow or you gonna cuddle me? And
where'd she get that body pillow from? Somebody brought it for her?
I don't know.
I mean, somebody brought it to the hotel room, or did she use some of the hotel pillows to make them her body pillow?
I don't know. It might be the one she had, or she's using the pillows from the hotel, probably. But they give each other a kiss goodnight, and so we see them the next day. You know, they said they slept well, they snuggled a little bit. Of course, they didn't have any sex because basically they were both exhausted, which a lot of the couples were. Long day. Anticipation, finding out who your spouse is and all like that. And so you know, they talk about how she talks about how well they're getting along, and she said that he's sweet and he's thoughtful, and they talk about, you know, a little bit more about themselves. Do you cook? And she was like, yeah, I cook pretty good. And he's, you know, she was like, I got a freezer full of fish that I caught. He said, you probably cooking the fish that you caught. She was like, yeah, I got a freezer full of fish that I caught and I cleaned herself.
Got some catfish. Don't
she was
forget
like,
what
I got some. That's what I'm about to say. But he was like, you know what? I've never had catfish. She was like, oh, we're going to have to let you get some catfish.
That's a deal breaker.
What, did he never had no catfish?
If you looked at her face, she was like, hold on, because she said she wanted a guy who's able to hunt and do things. Not hunt, but necessarily be outdoorsman like she is. My brother from Michigan. I don't know about Michigan. I'm not saying they don't hunt in Michigan. I'm not saying, but he don't seem like he the outdoor type.
Nah, but yeah. She did kind of look like, what? You never had catfish? But so this is the day after the wedding is when they meet with you know, each other's families.
Yeah. And
so she meets with his mom. Well, let me go back. He meets with her mom, Leah, her grandma Leah, her mom Toya, and her aunt Tia.
Yes.
And I don't remember seeing her at the wedding. She might have been there, but they didn't make a point to show her. So he's
man, you know, like this, it's TV. People should be showing up.
And so they said, you know, how was your night? You know, he says, I got a little bit of rest. You know, how you feel? He was like, I'm very happy. I'm eager to learn about my wife, and I'm just looking for some more advice about her and what you can tell me. And they was like, well, we want to know more about you. Have you ever been engaged or, you know, anything like that? He was like, nah, I've never been engaged. And the grandma was like, how? How you ain't never been engaged? Like, basically, like, you a good-looking guy. Why you ain't never been engaged? And so he explains, like, a lot of guys and some females, too. He was like, in his 20s, I was like a rambler, you know. I was out there. You know, was dealing, you know, sowing my royal oats.
Sowing my royal oats. I was waiting for it.
And then he said in his 30s, which he's still in his 30s, he said, you know, I started getting more into my career. And so they got that question, have you ever dated somebody of a different race? And he was like, well, you know, I dated mostly white girls and Latino women. And he said, I've been on dates with black women, but, like, never had a relationship. And
but the mama's down with that stuff anyway. So the grandma, they shouldn't be tripping because that's what the mama down to. So it's like, but I guess it's experience. Okay, this is what we went through or what I went through.
Right.
So I want to make sure that you are prepared for what you're getting ready to go through.
And that's what she said. That's their concern is the racial thing because you got to be able to, even if your family is accepting, like we talked about before, you got to be aware that it's still people in the world that see a biracial couple and it'll be like, oh, that's your wife? Are y'all together? Oh, wow. You know, so you have to be able to deal with that, or not even that. If it's maybe somebody you encounter a racist person, how do you react when you can't really relate to somebody being racist to you, but they're racist to your wife? How do you comfort her? How do you deal with that? How do you address the person? Do you address the person? You know, so that's their concern.
When y'all get home, how do you and your wife interact with each other? Because again, it may be the way that you respond may determine how your night is. Because you don't do it the right way, bruh, you got some problems.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and so her mom says, you know, Dominique is used to people's attitudes and behaviors when it comes to being a black woman, and so that might be a challenge for him. So that was the thing. So they just want to make sure that he's going to stick in with her and be there, because, you know, for a lifetime and know how to get through that. It was their concern when they asked about it. So when we see Dominique meet with McKinley's best friend Taylor, that's the parents that he stays with. His mom Linda and his sister Miley.
Yes,
I'm gonna say it's Miley, Myle. And you know, how's everything going? They want to know. And she was like, you know, we didn't really have a whole lot of time to chat with him, you know, like she liked to. Y'all try to say he was shy. He didn't seem very shy to me. I would say he exceeded my expectations. And you know, how did you get into this process? And she was like, well, my mom signed me up for it. And they were kind of like,
Yeah, you heard it. Mom
if your mom signed you up, of course their concern is your mom signed you up, so are you really into this process? Or are you just doing it because she signed you up? And she said, you know, initially it was about my mom doing it, but like I'm with it because basically I don't have a good picker. So I was like, pick it for me.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. I mean, that's what she said. Basically, she's not a good picker. She really, even though she's 25 though. That's my thing. You're 25. At 25, how many must have picked? Well, I already picked. I was already married. Sorry. But you know, at 25, most people are not picking the right person. At 25, you had some mistakes, you had some challenges, and you had some issues, and you had some good people, a good person or a bad person that you mess with, or several people that you mess with. So I mean, at 25, I wouldn't expect you to be a good picker. Well,
we found out later on after party that she said she's had 2 or 3 serious relationships. That lasted, you know, at least 2.5 years or so. So she really doesn't have that much experience when it comes to relationships. But anyway, so you know, she talks to his mom Linda about the process. She said, I really thought it was kind of nuts.
Yeah.
And she sat there all stone faced like. And Dominique said on after party, she was like, okay, so I came to the conclusion his mom is really actually pretty nice. And that's just her face. Like, she wasn't mean at all. She said actually his sister and his friend, they was coming at her more than the mama was.
And the mama was like the overseer. I ain't gonna say overseer. That's wrong term.
That's what she said. She literally said that.
Yeah, overseer. So I think, these days, you gotta be careful with your terms these days. Because you said overseer, and we talking about this dynamic here. You don't want to. Anyway, but you got me. You feel me on that. I ain't gonna.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, I mean, she literally said this. You can watch After Party. Yeah. Dominique said it. But see, their thing is, you know, he's not from here. He's from Michigan. So,
Yeah.
like, what would you do if he wanted to go back to Michigan? And she was like, you know, it'd be tough, but, you know, we basically kind of have to figure it out. Or, because I can understand, I'd be far away from my family. I know what it's like, you know.
But that's the thing. If you've never been away from home, again, I always go back to on Married at First Sight. This age difference between those two, it is 34 and 25. It's a 9-year difference. That's going to me is going to make the difference between a relationship. Can he be respectful and be able to lead her without actually coming off like a father? Mm-hmm. And then she's willing to kind of follow him and still be who she is, but get rid of some of her her ways that she had, her party ways with the girls' night out, but also being able to introduce him to new things that he's never been experienced to. Because you can't she like hunting, fishing, and volleyball and doing all this other stuff. Now she has to be able to incorporate him into her lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And also on top of that, you did in Tennessee and y'all got an interracial couple. I know it's 2023.
I said biracial before. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Interracial.
It's 2023 and it's still people out there that don't accept that.
Yeah, I don't foresee the age. It might be, from what I could tell right now, except maybe when she get into the party and stuff. I don't see the age being an issue right now. But we'll see.
And she old soul too.
Yeah.
So we'll see what's up with that.
So then let's go to Gina and Clint. And again, they're another couple. He carried her into the room, and of course, the infamous rose petals is on everybody's bed in the shape of a heart. But I like they had different color, kind of light yellow, pink rose petals. I was like, oh, that's cute.
That's different. It's different.
And so, you know, they come in the room, like, oh, the room is beautiful, and they talk about how well their families melded and got along at the reception. Yeah. And they both felt like it would be more awkward. They were like both talked about how they were both surprised that it went so well. And she said he definitely he said she exceeded his expectations. Mm-hmm. And of course, here we go again, buttons all up and down the dress. She needs some help getting out of her dress too. And he was like, I liked unbuttoning her dress. It was sexy. I was like, here he go, horny toad.
He's trying to get number 66 tonight. He wants number 66. He wanted to get his 66 body count. Y'all, you know what?
A mess.
You know what Clint wants. Clint's ready.
A mess. But, so they sleep that night, they cuddle, and so they come to the next day. You know, he said it felt real natural sleeping with her last night. He said, of course, like you said, of course, basically, I'm going to have to try. I wanted to have sex last night, but, you know, we didn't. And so, you know, I want to do something different. Want to kind of build as opposed to, build on substance as opposed to sex.
Of course, it would be natural for him to sleep with somebody, right? Because he's already had a bigger count. He feel comfortable with just sleeping with random people. It's all right. Mm-hmm. That's what he does. I'm not knocking it. It's just he feel comfortable. I didn't expect him to say anything different. Like, oh, I didn't feel comfortable sleeping with her. Why not? I mean, come on.
And so they have a little conversation about their routines. He was like, yeah, I'm usually up at 5:30. I'm ready to go. And she was like, yeah, when I wake up in the morning, I already have a list of things I need to do. I'm always busy with work. She brings up the work conversation. But she does say, I left my work phone. I don't even have my work phone. Because she knows it will be ringing. And so, you know, I'll be busy with work. I want to focus on this. So
I thought that was big. I thought that was very mature of her to be able to leave her work phone. Because some people can't separate work and play. God knows. I know the feeling. I'm just saying, some people can't leave their phone or cut their phone off because it's always constantly ringing or getting text messages. But she left. I mean, she's in. What's that?
He's talking about him because my phone be dry. That's the truth. My phone be dry. Maybe y'all should call me. Then my phone will ring.
Y'all don't watch these videos enough to know that my phone is going off. But anyway, so I can understand that. That takes a lot of maturity just to leave your phone, cut it off, especially your work phone, and not deal with it. You know? So my hat's off to her. When you're on vacation, be on vacation. I did do that while we were on a cruise though. It was off. What was on?
We literally did a video when we was on a cruise.
Yeah, but we stopped though.
I'm just saying.
Bahamas.
But that's not the point.
Okay.
it's work. But anyway, he met with her sister-in-law Isabel and her brother Mark, And so they was like, how's everything going? And he was like, my thoughts have really been all over the place the day of the wedding, going up to it. But, I was relieved when I saw her. It just helped with my anxiety, my anxiousness. And so they talked, they was like, okay, what is something that you think might be a potential problem, going into the marriage, dealing with the marriage. She was like, they said, but I don't know, did he ask them? I think they asked him.
They asked him.
And he was like, I'm kind of hard-headed, so I'm trying to see viewpoints from other people. So that's something that if we weren't on the same page, we'd have to talk about it and figure it out and deal with it. And so Isabel, the sister-in-law, she said the one thing that was a red flag for her is in talking to him, he's very similar to Gina. So she's like, when people are very similar,
they don't get along.
They kind of, they bump heads or whatever. So she said that was a red flag for her. And
you may see them bump heads. I can see where they can bump heads. I mean, they got a lot in common. Mm-hmm. I mean, go back even to the apartment, the work ethic, the time frame, how they get up in the morning, how they maneuver, how they move, how they have their own routine. It is very similar to each other. Mm-hmm. And that could be a problem, but it could also be put them together as a very good team.
Yeah. So he asked them, what is there something that I should be worried about? And they were like, she's a workaholic, basically. She don't have a lot of free time, so, and she travels. So that's going to be something that, y'all going to have to work out. You have to figure out. But you have to make sure with the working and the travel that you have time for each other. So that's something that they'll have to figure out.
Got to be a balance. I mean, be sure. When you have people that like to travel, you got to be able to, and I know you don't like traveling by yourself. I haven't traveled by myself in a long time. But you want to be able to navigate the waters and navigate things. He likes to go sailing. So he want to be able to teach and do different things. She like to go to different countries. So I think the traveling piece would be okay. It's when they get home, can they put everything aside, like we just talked about a few minutes ago, and really communicate with one another. That's going to make a difference in their relationship.
And he said it merged their world.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So we see her meet with his dad, Rob, and his friend, David. And, they were like, how do you feel about Clint? And she was like, he's not my typical type. I usually like, pretty tall, dark, and handsome. But he's a good-looking guy. Matter of fact, the last person I dated actually had light hair and a ginger beard. But I usually don't go for people with, she said her last boyfriend was blonde with a ginger beard. So she said she usually doesn't go for people with light hair or even a ginger. But, she was like, it was okay. When he took his shirt off, I was like, okay.
Go with the flow. A lot of people said they're not into the person's looks. But, again, we talk about this, I think you say it all the time on our reviews. If it was somebody like you was used to, or you're a typical person, why are you on the show? Mm-hmm. You can have that person anytime. You need to be something different. It has to be different. And again, trust the process, trust the experts, and let them get there.
But different don't always necessarily mean different look. But you know what I'm saying? Hey. Right. So she said, so there wasn't an immediate attraction, but his personality made him more attractive to her. So the other thing I want to add is, which I didn't mention with Dominique and McKinley, but everybody gets their basket that next day, and they find out, they're going to Jamaica. So the thing with Gina and Clint, they get their baskets and they got flags in it, and she's like, "Oh, what's that flag? It's from the Bahamas." He says, "No, they're Jamaican me crazy flags." And she's like, "Oh my God, I need to study my geography," and I was just like, forgive me, and I really mean this. I was like, who don't know that's a Jamaican flag? Yeah. Who don't, like, I feel you have to be under a rock somewhere to not know that's a Jamaican flag. Never watch track? You never heard of Usain Bolt? You never seen Cool Runnings? Golly, Bob Marley? You don't know, what? That just knocked me out.
I don't know. I did an experiment. I called all my kids and was like, y'all know what flag it is?
Did you?
Yes, I did.
They knew it was a Jamaican flag.
Every one of them knew it was a Jamaican flag. Everybody know.
I know it ain't the Bahamas. I've been to the Bahamas. I can't even tell. I would not call that a Bahamian flag.
Yeah, that's not. No, what she saw wasn't a Bahamian flag. That was Jamaican.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
she needs a
let's save them for last.
Yeah, we saved them for last.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
We go here.
Okay. So then let's talk about Jasmine and Airris. Mm-hmm. And so this was our couple that walked in the room.
He didn't feel like he needed to pick her up. Maybe he asked her and she said no. Maybe she didn't want to get picked up. Maybe
he didn't act like that. He just.
I'm trying to give Airris a benefit of the doubt.
They just walk into the room and they talked about the day. You know, it's like, you know, he said it was definitely a day to remember. Yeah. You know how thankful he was, and of course he helps her get out the dress. And as he's helping, he was like, this is a very beautiful dress that you got. And I know she was like, yes, that's what I was going for. Because remember, her thing was the dresses, she wanted to make sure she didn't pick anything pageanty. Yeah. And so she went for something unusual. And the dress is pretty, but he was like, you did a good job. You had a beautiful dress.
He was a little tipsy.
Like, thank you.
He was a little tipsy, but it's good.
They talk about how they're attracted to each other. He said, he's very tired, and he goes to put his, night clothes on or whatever. And I'll comment this later with some of the other couples, but like some of the guys, I was like,
look,
why you got beach clothes?
They got like beach shorts,
tank tops and shorts. I'm like,
brother, they ain't at the point where they put pajama pants on. They're not at that point.
You ain't got to put pajama pants on, but like they showed a preview, and just, I'm not going to this couple, but they showed a preview later on of them in the Bahamas, and one of the guys had the same clothes on that we saw him go to bed in. He was outside with it on. Like, what?
Maybe that's all they can pack.
I don't know. But, so, Airris is our guy. He didn't have no shirt on.
Nah.
He had his shorts on. And so Jasmine came out there. She came out in her lingerie. She was like, I'm not playing with you.
Not playing with y'all.
I'm not playing.
He was happy to see
you. And he was like, oh, look at you.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Just between her and Kirsten, all the other ladies had on, like a pajama shorts, set. But they had on lingerie.
And wasn't giving up none. I'm just saying.
Now, Airris would have gladly taken it.
Oh, he was, still deaf.
He would have gladly taken it, but
he was willing to just cuddle.
Yeah, and they cuddled up, and so the next morning was like, before they met family, whatever, he's like, how did I do with my cuddle game? Good. She was like, I give you a 9 out of 10 for your cuddle game.
We laugh because we always think it's fake, because I don't know anybody who cuddles all night and stays in the same spot.
If you really sleeping, you are not.
Yeah, y'all let us know.
You're not waking up cuddled still.
Are you a cuddler where you stay in the same spot all night?
I've never.
You start out cuddling and y'all don't end up in the same spot. I'm sorry.
After a while, you get comfortable. You sleep, or maybe it's just because the longer you, I can't even say the longer you get married, because from the jump, we would start out cuddling. After a while, turn the other way. Yeah. You roll over, because sometimes when you cuddling, on your side, that's not comfortable sleep. You gotta lay on your stomach or your back, or you flip to your other side. You gotta put your leg up, whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
How you still wake up cuddled?
Yeah, I still cuddled up. I just thought it was fake.
Yeah, but anyway, so he was like, I have to go. How did it feel waking up a whole wife? He was like, it was cool. She fell asleep on my chest, and they talk about they looking forward to meeting each other's family, and he's going to go meet her dad and her brother. Mm-hmm. And Airris, like, I hope that her meeting with my mom and Felina goes smooth. It should go smooth. And, because Felina basically, she had her doubts, and Jasmine was like, I know, she told me at the reception.
Felina keep coming for her.
She did not hold her tongue. Like, I already know she
stopped coming for her.
Yeah. So, we see Airris, like I said, Airris actually ended up meeting with Jasmine's dad, mm-hmm. her brother, and her mom.
Right.
And so, they already know a little bit about him. Dad was like, oh, so okay, so I heard you was an only child. He was like, yeah. He was like, so you never got the joy of experience, you know, with a sibling and having to fight over the bathroom. And he was like, nah. Or a sibling fights and fighting over the bathroom. He was like, nah. And Jasmine's brother Pernell joked. He said, oh, you got to fight over it now.
We're gonna fight now. But he said he liked Pernell because they're kind of close in age.
Mm-hmm.
That they kind of close in understanding. He said he even liked Jasmine's father because it felt real comfortable.
Uh-huh. And you know, he tried to hit him with some wisdom. You could tell he did. Airris asked about Jasmine. You know, is she organized or is it organized chaos? And her dad says, you know, it just depends on what it is. When it comes to being a cheer coach, you know, she's like a drill sergeant, but for other things, you know, she's not that disciplined and not that organized. Nah. And the mom shared, you know, being married and everything, it's not gonna stay peaches and cream like the first year. That's how it is, but you're getting to know each other, and so it's gonna take some effort, you know, getting to that point. And her dad shares that the key is that Airris has to be allowed to be Airris, and Jasmine has to be allowed to be Jasmine has to be allowed to be Jasmine. Like, you be yourselves, but you find a way to come together. And his dad was like, you know, I'm counting on you to basically look out for my baby girl. So, you know, and to be a man. And so, all in all, their conversation went very well. Now, on the flip side, her meeting with Felina was ready to go. Okay? She was ready to go. I was like, leave that girl alone.
But Jasmine held her own, though. She held her own. I mean, she didn't get punked by Felina. She didn't. But, so she met with another cousin. The other cousin, Kim, was there, and then Felina, and then his mom, Lori. And, she tells them, you know, it really started to feel real when I came down the aisle and I saw you know, my groom and everything. And so there's a vignette with Felina talking to the producer. He was like, you know, so what do you think of Airris' new wife? And it was like awkward. Like, she bust out laughing. And it took her a minute to get herself together. And she said, I'm sorry, I laughed because, like you said, his wife. Like, I'm still trying to get used to that. Like, Airris got a wife. That sounds so crazy. He shouldn't have no wife. Well, you know, because everybody know Airris is a player, or was a player, you know. And he was out there when he lived in California. He was a player when he came back. Now he's out. He said, wait, bye-bye to the streets. Bye. You know, he talked bye to the streets. And so now he's ready to settle down. And everybody, you know how it is. Everybody looking at you as the person that you have always been, mm-hmm. not the person that you want to be. Right. And they're looking at him the way that he has always been. Yeah, because she says it's unbelievable to her. So when they're sitting there talking, you know, Felina asked Jasmine, why is it so important to you right now to have a relationship? And so Jasmine was like, you know, I'm happy at this stage in my life. I have everything lined up, you know, with my career and everything. And so what I'm missing is, you know, a person, starting a family, having somebody to share that with. And so she explained to them that she's lived with an ex before. It was actually the last place that she stayed. She stayed with an ex. And they were like, how long ago was that? And she's like, 7 months ago. And she was like, so that's not an issue? You sure you over that? And she was like, yeah, I'm good. Yo, that made me mad, right? Because her and Airris is close. But you don't know your cousin just slept with somebody 2 weeks. The week that he realized that he was going to get married, or the night before he realized he was going to get married, he slept with somebody, but you tripping over this girl being with somebody for 7 months ago? You and your cousin? She knows that's not an issue for Airris, because Airris, obviously that's what Airris has done. So it ain't no concerns to him being attached to her. That's why she can say it to Jasmine, but not Airris. But Felina, like I said, asked, are you truly done with it? And, you know, Jasmine explained, she was like, when y'all break up, that's just like a timestamp. And she told the truth. Before you actually break up, you have thought about breaking up, or things have been in the process of you breaking up before you even get there, before you finally be like, you know what, I don't want to be together. Oh, yeah, you've always done it in your mind. You broke up the person before you broke up the person. Yeah, she said you emotionally, mentally, and sometimes physically broke up with the person before you actually
be like, I don't want to be with you no more.
Yeah, you detached yourself.
And Felina was like, oh, that was basically like a nice pageant answer. I was like, girl, stop. If you can't be eloquent and sensible in asking a question off the top of your head, just say that.
She was coming for her. And I wanted Jasmine to be like, yo, stop coming for me. Look, come see. Look, that's my answer. That's how I answer questions. I was true. And Airris even thought when they played the clip on After Party, he was like, I thought she was honest and she was genuine. Then he was like, well, I said the same thing. And Keisha was like, no, you didn't. You said you were 90% in when you cheated. It's two different things.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you have to have that balance. And Felina just kept coming.
Yeah, she actually said to her, I know you come from the pageant world, and the pageant world is portrayed like, we're ready to answer a question with the right response, like it's like staged or whatever. And in her vignette, Felina was like, it's the unknown to me. How can everyone answer a question with such a confident statement? Because I'm well versed. I think well. On my feet.
I'm educated.
And I'm educated. Like, just if you're the person that everybody knows, don't interview them for the news. Cause just say that.
Or I got the gift of gab. I can hit it. I can flow. I can move real quick. I'm quick witted. I can move off my top of my dome.
If you didn't take public speaking in school, just say that. If you didn't take a speech class, just say that.
I excelled at speech class.
That's what I'm saying. If you didn't have to pick that index card with some random topic and get up and talk about it like you knew it, just say that.
Just say it.
Just say that. But anyway, so Felina was like, this is such a huge step, and you got to really process questions and think about it, and be praying that it works out. Like, she was really hating on her. Like, she's obviously you're not used to being around. I don't think that has nothing to do with the pageant. If anything, I would put that on the trying to be perfect in your look, and I wouldn't even put, because honestly some of them pageant people, they be sounding stupid when they answer their questions.
I want world peace. I want world peace. You ain't never gonna get no world peace.
Anyway, until Jesus come back, and even then.
All right.
So Jasmine and Airris talk about the meeting afterwards. And, Airris is like, Felina's always been like that. She's really protective. But, he's hopeful that Jasmine and Felina's relationship will get better as they go along.
I mean, she is protective. I mean, I think you have cousins. I have cousins who I'm protective of. Not that deep, but I do have people I'm protected of. You don't want them to get hurt, and especially if they grew up. I think, we talk about cousins, and I think he said it, or I've heard it, that they kind of grew up like brother and sister, more so than cousins. So it seemed like they grew up in the same house, or they grew up together along that way. So some people say they feel like they're involved. Not necessarily. I don't think they're involved. I don't think they play cousins. I think they're really cousins, and I think she treats him more as a brother than anything else. And so she's looking out for her brother. So I'm not knocking it.
Well, she can. But this is the thing. Like you said, you trying to look out for him, but he the one that's the player.
Right.
You ought to be looking out for her. Like, just so you know. But anyway.
He's the player for life.
I like the fact that after Jasmine has her little after action review with Airris after meeting with his family, she was like, okay, I'm going to be back. I got to go get my hair braided. Listen, when us black girls go on vacation, we're going to get our hair braided. We're going to get it done some kind of way where that water don't mess it up. Because you won't have me looking like no poodle.
Not on TV.
On vacation.
And not on national TV.
Yeah, no.
People either.
Yeah, so she went and got her hair braided. And so when she comes back, of course, they get their baskets to go to Jamaica. He said he's never been to Jamaica before, but she has. And, so she going to get them all acclimated. We see them get to Jamaica, and they go in a room, and they got this big old bathtub, and he's funny. He's like, man, this big bathtub. He said, I'm going to get in this bathtub. He said, I want you to feed me grapes like a king. I was like, sir, get up.
She did it. She did it.
She did, but she didn't do it like in the movies. Like, she didn't.
Nah.
She didn't do it like that.
I think she's the one, too. She's going to cater to him. which is not a bad thing. She's Southern, you know, so she's gonna care.
But she's
gonna care. I mean, she's gonna make sure Airris is okay.
But I don't even see that as a catering part. I think that, like, you know, it's funny. Like, you so silly. Yeah. You want to be in a bathtub. You and me feed you grapes like a king. Oh, I'm gonna give you some grapes. You know, I think that was just
funny. But she likes him and she enjoyed him. So I think he's seeing what he can get away with, what can't get away with, and kind of playing faction or playing way. So. Mm-hmm. You know, I like them two together right now, and we'll see how time goes with Airris and Jasmine. But they have great conversation. Because even when they was at the airport, he was like, "Yo, I got pre-check." She's like, "I ain't got no pre-check." He said, "Well, look, you stay with me. I'll make sure you get pre-check." You know, because he's
I'm gonna wait for you.
I'm gonna wait for you, but I'll make sure you get pre-check. So he's funny. He's being himself. You can see that he's being himself, and she's embracing it. And she liking it. So. Like,
so now let's go to Nicole and Chris, and so we had gotten a glimpse of them already, you know, in their honeymoon suite, anyways. Because like I said, he started it off with the tank top and the shorts, and she had her little cute satin pajama short set on. She looked real cute, but so the next morning they get up, they have breakfast, and she was like, you know, normally I don't support eating in bed because both of them talk about how they got dogs, and I was just like, and how it be dog hair everywhere, so then they don't eat in the bed, and they was like, yeah, you gotta clean the dog hair up, be careful of the dog hair, and I was like,
don't eat it, Chris and Nicole. Oh, I can't say
that. But anyway, so he said it felt good to him for them to sleep together. You know, he likes to share his food. They talked about that. When you eat, do you share food? He's like, yeah, I share my food. And they talk about, you know, hopefully, you know, we'll get along and the fights will be few and far between. And, you know, he said, you know, I like to be early or whatever. She said, well, I guess that is going to be our first fight because
she's late.
Usually I'm not late. And he's so sweet. He was like, well, if any reason why you late, I know it's not for putting on makeup because you look beautiful without the makeup on. And I was like...
I was like, yes, Chris, get them points. Rack them up, brother. Rack them up.
And she was like, oh my God, it's so sweet. But see, when guys be like that, sometimes girls, you do be like, Nate, you come on.
No, he wasn't being, he was being him.
I mean, he was being genuine, but sometimes when guys are like that, even though they're genuine from females, we'd be like, why did you stop buttering up? Like,
so you try to say he's doing too much. Some women like compliments. He was giving a compliment. You look beautiful without your makeup on.
Well, she definitely needs it. We find out later. You know, she's had some rough relationships. Like, I was like, girl, what?
She was young and dumb.
So she was like, you know, the way he compliments and the way he's acting, it's like, he's so nice, it's like almost unbelievable to me. And, but so far, I think that's a good, the experts did a good match there because she needed someone to help build her confidence up. And Chris will do that.
Yeah, she needs someone safe. And Chris is safe. I won't say it that way. She needed somebody who's safe.
So we see him go to meet with her mom, Nancy, her stepdad, Mike, and then her dad, Mark.
Yeah.
And so, you know, he's like, you know, I want to meet with them. I really want to make a good impression. And get along. And so, you know, he was like, I don't play games, like explaining to them just how my personality is. I don't play games. I'm always the same. I don't act one way sometimes in another way. He's like, I'm really consistent. And the dad says, you know, that he told him, I didn't really like the idea of my daughter getting married like this. Like, I was like, no, but I want to know, you know, at what point can you compromise and, you know, merge your lives together? And Chris was like, you know, I'm just going to know how to take interest in her, what she likes and what she likes to do. And, you know, hopefully she can do the same. And so we'll, you know, bond and get together on that part. And question is, are you ready to be a husband? And Chris was like, yeah, I think so. Dad's like, you think so? You got to know so.
You got to know so.
And in his vignette, you know, her dad, Mark, is like, you know, he's a nice guy. But, I mean, a lot of serial killers start off as nice guys.
Yeah, her dad just tried to make... He's tough from New York. He tried to put the New York fear inside of him. And again, that's his baby girl. That's his daughter. So he's trying to make sure that Chris does everything right by his daughter. So, I mean, you get it. But I think he went... I can say he went overboard, but you get it.
Yeah. He was like... but he's nice. serial killers usually are. But I'm not saying that he's a serial killer. That don't make him a serial killer.
Yeah, you are. You call him a serial killer.
But he was like, the jury's out right now, you know, on what he might be in the future. And I'm like, just, he's a nice guy. I mean, nice people can end up not being so nice, you know, later. Yeah. But just give him his flowers right now. He's a nice guy. Stop.
Nice guy, and treat him with respect. I don't think you got to go into it giving him the benefit of the doubt unless he does something to your daughter, right? Mm-hmm. Unless there's something different that she calls you and say, Daddy, Chris did this and that. But you have to go in giving him the benefit of the doubt, knowing that you know what, Chris could be okay.
And so they were like, you know, are you committed to making this happen? And Chris was like, yeah, I am. I'm gonna make it happen. Mm-hmm. So we see Nicole meet with his mom Judy, his dad Jeff, and his brother Brandon, and you know, talk to me about Chris. You know, tell me about Chris. How was he growing up? And his mom was like, he's always been big-hearted. He's been a nurturing soul. He's always just been kind. And Nicole was like, you know, I can really see that. I'm getting that from him already.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a lot of things for her. He's catered to her so far. He's really been there to be supportive, waking her up, food, breakfast, a bed situation, listening to her as much as she talks. And I mean, not just listening like, here, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, literally listening, being engaged and in tune to the words that are coming out of her mouth. So I think that means a lot to her as well because that's what he's doing.
The one thing that his brother expressed is that, you know, they like, the family's like, in the past, he'd been so consumed with relationships, like basically trying to do what you say he's doing, like extra catering and, you know, just trying to be pleasing to him. And, you know, it hasn't always worked out for him. And so she says, you know, I'm just going to encourage him to have his own life and, you know, be concerned about himself. And she was like, you know, like, I like to go out. And so if I'm with a guy that's like, you know, I don't want you to go out, I want you to stay home with me and be all up under me. She was like, that's unacceptable. Like, that's not going to work.
You can't do that.
And the mom says, yeah, you got to have a mutual respect. And dad was like, you know, he's been wanting a good relationship for a while. And so we're happy that he can, you know, get that hopefully this time around. And so his brother Brandon expressed that his concern is that, and Nicole says she's had this problem too, is staying in something longer than I probably should. And so then when things fall apart, his brother Brandon's like, you know, he takes it way harder and it really takes, his confidence takes a hit. I don't want him to get hurt like that.
Yeah, because he gets to look at, what about me? Why me? You know, that why me syndrome sets in, and well, in the church, condemnation sets in, and lack of confidence sets in, and now all that comes inside. And he has to be able to break through that stuff. Yeah, the dad was like, so if you see it's not working out, don't drag it out. Just like do him a favor and just cut it loose. Cut ties, let them ever
so we see their baskets come as well. And she was like, oh, I'm excited to go to Jamaica. You know, I have a feeling that the romance is gonna be heating up. And so she was like, do you think we're gonna have sex in Jamaica? He's like, wow. I mean, we'll see what happens.
She is ready. Straight to it. She went straight to it. She's ready. If Chris was like, yo, let's do it now, I think she was ready to go.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of smooching. She was like, you know, they haven't really had an opportunity to be romantic, though. So she feels like, you know, being in another element in the islands, you know, that might cause things to heat up quickly. And so when they get to Jamaica, they get to the honeymoon, you know, they talk about the fact that, you know, being on vacation. And she says, you know, I haven't been on a real vacation in years. Yeah. The problem with me going on vacation is, like, you know, when you're on vacation, you be a little more free. You be more yourself. And she was like, I have vacation anxiety because I feel like people might be like, when they see that side of me, they'll be like, oh. Oh, so that's why how you want to act. So she was like, I don't feel like I can really be me because they might not receive it. Yeah. And he was like, well, the last time I went on vacation, you know, I was with a girlfriend, but it like wasn't the best. It was like being with a stranger, which is ironic because I'm literally here with a stranger. But he said the thing is that I don't feel like you're a stranger. Like I feel more close with you than I did with her. Like, she didn't talk to me. She didn't give me no information. She didn't stay with me. She didn't hold my hand or none of that. I was like, oh, okay. She just used you for the trip.
She used you for the trip. She's just there for the trip.
I mean,
I
get it. Okay.
She used it for the trip just to get a free ride. and hang out. Probably left for somebody else that was on. It's just weird. There's somebody else on the trip, so.
Yeah. You know, Nicole was like, she feels good about Chris because I haven't really been with a guy that likes to share his feelings, but I like he talks about his feelings.
Yeah.
And
very open dude.
Very much so. And so she's like asking. He asked, you know, what's your relationship experience? She was like, you know, I've had some really horrible relationships. And he was like what? She was like, I mean, like my first relationship was like so toxic. I was young, and he really told me I wasn't worthy of love, and so I felt that must be true because this is somebody that I care for. And if he says I'm not worthy, then I'm not. And he gave me this: if you love me, you'll let me burn you with a cigarette. Now,
what in that blue
what
blazers?
Pray tell?
What make you say that's some ownership? That's some branding type stuff.
Not the classic. If you love me, you'll let me hit it. No.
If you love me, you let me burn you with a cigarette.
And she literally touched her arm like she had the scar. And he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And he kissed it. And I was like, oh.
She got the scar for it.
No, I'm saying, I know. I was like, bruh, you ain't burning me.
For a cigarette. And the dude, she had nerves. Well, do you mind me burning you? Yeah, man, you get the heck out of here. But again, things that people do for love, because I'm not knocking. Things people do for love. I am knocking that though.
But she says, you know, I think I've changed. I've changed for the better since then. You know, over the years with my relationships. And he says, you know, I thank you for sharing that with me. Your past matters to me. You know, it feels good for both of them to have somebody that's upfront.
Yeah.
And in his vignette, he was like, I got a message to her exes. You know, it's your loss and my gain. Boom. I was like, okay, drop the mic, Chris.
Drop the mic, Chris.
Drop the mic. So last but not least, we got Shaquille and Kirsten.
Man, this right here is...
And it's a couple of things with them that was troubling to me.
Yeah,
so
let's pull that.
Here's our other couple. He did carry her over the threshold.
Yes.
Unlike Jasmine and Airris, the one holdout, y'all just walked in the room. Which is fine. Because really, traditionally, you carry them over the threshold to your house.
Right.
Not the honeymoon suite. So I'm not mad at you. But anyway, Shaquille carries Kirsten over into the honeymoon suite. And, you know, they're sitting there talking and she's sitting on his lap. And what would be, what's the word I want to say? It would feel like, okay, when you sit on somebody's lap, you know, you do like this, but she don't like that. She don't like that bald head. I was like, she was not going to touch that.
She ain't touching that head, man.
That would be like force of habit. You sit on somebody's lap, you put your hand on their head. She's like, But she did sit on his lap. We had this discussion. He don't think that she likes him, but I think she does. No. She does, but...
Hey, y'all check out my video. I did a video. I did a video and explaining why she doesn't like him, why she's not attracted to him.
And so
I think she plays nice. She don't want to be nasty. She doesn't want to come off on TV as being the mean girl. So she plays nice to him, and she can't get past the bald head and the age. So
it's a year.
So she's going to be cordial.
He is a year younger.
She's going to be cordial in hopes that she may find a spark or something that's there. But man, I think
I'm not sitting. I don't care. If I don't like you, I'm not sitting on your lap. I'm not doing that. I don't care.
Not only did she sit on his lap, she cuddled with him all night.
She did. That's why I said I think she likes him. Maybe not as much as she would like somebody else. She likes him.
But didn't give him a kiss though.
Well, anyway, we ain't even got to that. We haven't got to that. And so, you know, he's like, the wedding went the way he expected it, the way he always imagined it. I was speechless when you came down the aisle. You know, they both say they're looking forward to getting to know each other. And so while she's sitting on his lap and they're chatting, he was like, can I have a kiss? And she's like, no.
Now,
and in her vignette, she said it was because, you know, I don't want it to start off like that and just to be based on it. I was like, still, girl, you could have gave that man a pet.
Because she was like, you know, kissing leads to another thing, and I want him to think that, which prompted one of her bridesmaids to go out online today or on social media, and I'll pull it up later for another video, that they kissed at a reception. And that she had proof that they kissed at a reception. And I was like, we as viewers only can go off what we see. We didn't see it, so in TV land, guess what?
It ain't happened.
It ain't happened for us.
If we didn't see it, it ain't happened.
We ain't see it, it ain't happened. Right? And whether media's trying to, the show or production's going to try to play that up, that he hasn't got a kiss yet, and that's fine. But we haven't seen it, so we don't think it's going to happen. You know, Mirla and Gil situation. I tried to figure out who else did it. Was Mirla and Gil. And it was they didn't kiss, and also was Miles and Karen. It took a long time for Karen to kiss Miles. See how that working out for her right now.
Anyway, so she needs some help to get out of her dress, and he even helps her get out of the dress. Oh, but that's why I said she wants him to wait for the kiss. They want to ease into things, but anyway, he helped her get out of her dress. He says, "Not my expectation to have sex. I respect her boundaries. It's fine. It is what it is." But anyway, so the next day, you know, they get up. They said, you know, they talked till she fell asleep. And, you know, she said she felt comfortable sleeping next to him.
She was cuddled in his arms, too.
Of course, we didn't have any sex, but they felt comfortable with each other.
Okay, everybody said they feel comfortable. Who doesn't feel comfortable cuddling with somebody?
I mean, you could not feel comfortable cuddling with somebody you just met. I don't know if I would. Especially if I don't like them. If I'm not attracted to them, like, I would definitely not feel comfortable cuddling up with somebody that I was feeling like, I do not like. I
can cuddle people.
Nah, there would have to be some kind of little attraction there.
Okay, just checking.
But anyway, so they talk about, what's your nighttime routine? He was like, do you I shower before bed. He said, I take my contacts out. Because what she shared was, I see we both wear glasses or contacts. So, what's your routine today? He was like, yeah, I take my contacts out. I brush my teeth before I go to bed. I'm a teeth person. And she was like, I'm going to tell you the truth. Sometimes I don't brush my teeth. It sounded like brush my teeth. But then she said, before I go to bed. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
So,
and you put your hand in here like, oh, did she just say that?
You brush your teeth, right?
Like, she
but she said, I don't brush them at night. But she goes and meets with his friend Indy and his uncle Derek. And so theirs went just really kind of smooth. It wasn't a whole lot of bumps. Like, we kicked it off instantly. We talked about him being busy. My concern is he going to have time for me. And they were like, he'll make time for you. You ain't got to worry about that. And really, that was the gist of their conversation. She shares later that, she enjoyed having a conversation with them. She tells Shaquille that, I like your Uncle Derek. He's really nice and sweet and everything. But Shaquille meets with Kirsten's friend Elise, her cousin Takina, and then I think it was one other person.
Yeah, they grilled my brother.
They was like, I ain't settled on him. I still got concern, and is he being intentional in this process? What are you in it for? He said, I am intentional, and he said, I wasn't gonna do Married at First Sight, but I just felt like God, this was God ordained, because I kept seeing the ads. It kept coming back, messages coming to me. So I was like, let me just go ahead and do it.
Maybe that wasn't God. Maybe it was just promotions.
Let me just go ahead and do it. And so, I just felt like it was preordained. And so the friend was like, you're talking like, everything just comes to you. Everything just comes to you. So what if she don't come right to you? What if she don't, everything don't fall? He was like, well, to me it's about balance. I
like that question.
And meshing and, building a bond. So if she don't come right to me, I'm going to put the effort to, build it up.
Take care of it.
And at least let him know, she's going to be hesitant because, first of all, you're a stranger, but that's how she is. And it's going to be slow. So, you're going to have to be consistent. If you're consistent, she'll open up. And I think it was good advice that they gave him.
Consistency is always going to be key. Everything.
So they have a conversation, okay, how was brunch? And he was like, your friends was on another level. I know you said they was going to try to get at me. But, yeah, it was another difference. She was like, I tried to tell you. And that's when she was like, your uncle is sweet and everything. And he was like, my family's very supportive. They, but they don't know what it took for me to get here.
Yeah.
And as he shared before, he said, you know, I had some silent struggles. I had some struggles that I went through by myself. And she was like, well, why didn't you bring it up? He was like, because I have family that looks to me and expects me to be strong. So I go through those things by myself. And she said, that's one thing we have in common, because I'm guilty of that too. So we both going to have to work on that and be open and honest and share with each other.
I'm glad right there. That's the key right there, because they both are, and we saw that with her. You can see that with her, that she doesn't like something. She doesn't like his looks or his bald head. And instead of addressing the issue, she's been pushing that away and play laughing, or the fake laughing she does, is hiding the fact that she really doesn't like him. And that she really don't communicate very well. And he needs to learn how to communicate with her to kind of ease her nerves and to be able to comfort some things. Because that has to be key. And I know when you're always a person who take care of family, you need somebody to take care of you, but you also need that alone time. That time where you can regroup, rejuvenate, and revive yourself.
Mm-hmm. So we see them, their baskets come, and he says, you know, I think we're going to have a good time in Jamaica, but, you know, I'm still in school, right? Mm-hmm. And I got a research conference that weekend, so I have to be present to present. And so we're not going to the honeymoon the first day. We're going to Jackson, Mississippi. You're going with me for my research conference. And she was like, what?
When he messed up, y'all got to watch on other. You don't tell her she's going with you. You ask and make a suggestion. She may not want her to go with you. She may not want to go with you. Or you explain, you know what, I'd rather for us to go together because, you know, we just got married. I would like to get to know you over the next day, and we can arrive to Jamaica together. I make it up to you. Keep it moving that way.
She was like, look, you already got me making sacrifices and stuff. I'm missing the beach. Like, you going to have to make this up. And he was like, you know, I didn't want to leave her out. I want her to see me in my element. But we find out later that she's sitting in a hotel room. Like, how is she seeing you in your element?
Right, she's not. She's not. Because he took her to Jackson, Mississippi.
I could have went to Jamaica.
He took her to Jackson, Mississippi and shoved her in that hotel room. She didn't get.
I don't know if he shoved her.
I'm not shoved her, but I'm just in there. But again, she's grown. She could get out, walk, make a tour. I don't know what university it is. Go just travel around the campus, and do whatever you need to do to have fun until it's time for you guys to leave. I'm sure he's not there 24/7, right? Mm-hmm. So you're there in spurts and periods, and now he can adjust her. But he should have made sure she was okay. And
well, we don't know that.
I'm not sure he didn't.
Yeah.
But even to the trip part, he should have offered the option, would you like to go to Jamaica and I'll meet you there?
Right. That definitely should have happened.
It might have happened. I don't know. I only can go off what I see.
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like they should have had a conversation about that. But she was like, in her vignette, she was like, are you serious? This is unbelievable. Yeah. Like, I don't want to miss a day in Jamaica. But she says, you know, if it wasn't our honeymoon that I was missing a day of, so that you could do your research project, she said, I'd probably be more excited for you, but
I'm not excited because
I'm not excited. And then he didn't help none. He said, you know, I'm not even really prepared for this. We can go to Jamaica.
We can go to Jamaica. Hey, look, you ain't prepared? Dog, let's go. Let's get on the plane. She's missing her girls, and it's a curiosity. She's missing the girls, and then she wants to see who the girls married. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's like, okay, I understand you got to get this done. Can you postpone it? Till you get back, can you move it to that?
But you see how producers did us? They had us thinking that he was going to do his dissertation for a school. But this is just a research thing. Because I do kind of feel like you couldn't have changed this. I don't know how long it was planned. But the other thing, more than anything, is if you want her to see you in your element, how she sitting in a hotel room, did she opt to be in a hotel room?
Maybe she
was it not an option for her to be? I don't know. But anyway.
Maybe she's watching online. I'm gonna say she watched online.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, she was like, he got a whole lot of making up to do.
A whole lot
of making up to do.
Well,
so,
it's not. He got a lot of making up to do. But again, I don't care how much he makes up. She doesn't like him. Mm-hmm. How much he does right things. She doesn't like him. How much he communicates. She doesn't like him. Some people say, "Oh, you can grow to like somebody," but you got to like something about the person. Mm-hmm. Something.
Yeah. The only other thing I want to share is, of course, they head to Jamaica. All the couples except for Shaquille and Kirsten. And they meet up and they get to meet each other's spouses. Yeah. And, you know, Nicole made a comment. Everybody looks like they kind of got good chemistry. And Clint, Airris was like, oh, I'm ready for some intimacy and spicing things up. And Clint, of all people, was like, oh, Airris all over there getting frothy in the mouth. ready to get all sexual and stuff. And then when they were on little van or whatever going to the resort.
Oh, McKinley.
McKinley makes a joke. He was like, "Yeah, we had sex." He's like, "No, I'm just kidding."
Everybody stopped and looked.
Everybody was like, "You what?
You what?" That just came out of left field. Come out of the blue.
So, but that's it. The next episode, they'll be on the honeymoon. Hopefully, Shaquille and Kirsten.
You're right. He didn't give her a choice.
Right.
Okay, well, he didn't give her a choice, and that's what made me upset. She should have had a choice. Whether production didn't give her a choice, whether he didn't give her a choice. He said, "We are going." And no, we not. I'm going to Jamaica.
Was she good? Because I would have told him, "No, you going, and I see you when you get to Jamaica."
He didn't put
Love you, bye.
He didn't put it the right way. It's all about communication. It's all about how you say things.
But again,
it's all about how you say things.
We only saw what they showed us. We don't know what transpired, how we got to this conclusion. We don't know how that happened. So, but yeah, it would have been nice to see. Let's have a conversation. Hey, I got to do this research thing. Would you like to go with me, or you want to meet me? You know. But anyway,
I'm interested to know, and this is what I really want to know. Could you have changed the you knew you were getting married. When you found out that you had this research thing, you found out that you was going on your honeymoon, you could have been like, hey, the research thing can wait, because what it is was a research conference that he had to present a dissertation to. Well, guess what? It could have been other presentation times. I'm getting married. This is a life-changing event, right? Mm-hmm. Can I change my time? I think he just wanted to show off what he does. At Jackson, well, in Jackson, Mississippi, I ain't gonna say Jackson State because I don't know if he's at Jackson State, but down in Mississippi, right? He just wanted to show off and show an element. Mississippi. He wanted to show her what he does, and I think he's still caught up in the school life and things that he do. He wants her to be a part, but that's not the way to get somebody to be a part. Mm-hmm. So you gotta have that relaxation. But
we'll see as we get deeper into the honeymoons. I'm interested to see how they'll be relating to each other. And
it's definitely gonna be interesting to see how they relate to each other. I think that's gonna be key. Communication is gonna be key. Me honestly, I don't think she likes him, but maybe
I think she does. I just think, okay, on a level of, on a scale from 1 to 10, as far as like, I think she's probably at she's definitely below a 5. But I don't think she doesn't like him. It's just not high on the scale just yet.
Okay, I give it. It's not a 0.
No, it's not 0.
It's not on life.
I'm gonna say it's like 3 or 4.
It's not on life support. I mean, so it's walking a little bit. It got some, because again, I don't think she's that great of an actress, because she does hold on him, love on, things like that. She did cuddle with him all night long, but she just in that instance didn't kiss him. So I don't know. We had the conversation. Are you cuddling with somebody you don't like?
I'm definitely not.
Like, people don't cuddle what they don't like. So I don't know. She doesn't. I don't think she likes him. So. He doesn't like him. Y'all let us know what you think. Let us know what couples you like so far. We haven't got to that part. You'll probably do that next week. Like, who's going to stay together, who we think going to stay together, who we like after the whole honeymoon situation. So make sure you check out all our other reviews. Hit the subscribe button, the bell notification. If you stayed and you watched us for this long,
subscribe.
Just subscribe, right?
Why not?
Subscribe and hit the bell notification.
And tell your friends to subscribe.
Tell your friends to subscribe. And give us a thumbs up, all that. So, hey, make sure you do all those things. Check out other videos that we put out. Y'all guys have a great night. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thanks to all y'all that's watching live, and all those of y'all gonna watch it later.
Watch it later. Y'all have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.